Hello, and welcome to the Hallway Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Kieran Brennan. With me, as always, my co-host.
The man that United forgot Rian, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is number 3. The third time we've recorded that intro today. It's been one of them days, but we're here. I'm glad to be back on the podcast. Episode 89. We're 11 away from 100, and we got some cool plans for 100. But we're 11 away from 100, Ken.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy. That's 100 weeks we've been doing this shit. I haven't been here for every single one, but you have.
I haven't been here for every single one. I missed one. I missed one.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, you did. And me, Michael, and Matthew did like a Marvel podcast. The dumbest thing I've ever done. Yeah. So yeah, how you doing? How have you been?
Yeah, I've said this already. Every day it's felt like a week this week. Just college work and just a few Zoom calls and some extracurricular stuff. And so my downtime, I've been trying to play Mario Kart as much as I can. I watched the boxing last night. Oh, I watched slap fighting last weekend.
Ah, yeah, I saw that in your story.
Slap fighting was amazing. Like, amazing. If you have a few drinks in you, like, I wouldn't watch it sober by any stretch. But it was an event. It was just scary to think. It was in Poland, and listen, Poland isn't known for being the most kind of politically correct country in the world. There was a lot of stuff said that I wouldn't agree with whatsoever. There was a rap battle at halftime, and you can imagine what kind of stuff was said in that.
Oh no.
So, but yeah, no, the slap fight was just something I was on, and I just watched just people slapping the crap out of each other. Boxing last night was good. I watched a bit of UFC. So I've just been trying as much to get my downtime in as much me as possible in my downtime and like relax, because outside that it's been pretty hectic with college, because we're coming to the end of the college year for us. But we announced and recorded the first pilot and first episode of a new podcast this week.
Yes, you did. Well done.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy. It's something I've been like. Kieran probably knows this from dealing with me, and I say dealing with me in the most sincere way possible, because I'm hard work sometimes. But I usually come up with an idea, and within 2 days I've already advanced that idea. I'm quite an addictive personality. It's the way I am. If I start something, I'm going to finish it, or I'm going to begin it. So I thought of this idea, and I recorded a pilot. I already knew that there was a load of guests that would be willing to come on, and it's basically just good. It's called Good People Doing Good Shit. Basically, it's just going to celebrate the content creation that has boomed in the pandemic, and not exclusively in the pandemic, but that has grown in the pandemic and has been a vice. I don't know if vice is the right word, but it's been an escape for a lot of people. Content creation, me, Kieran, I know a lot of people who we're going to speak to. Content creation has kept them sane and kept their mental health. And there's a lot of cool stories out there. I'm going to have some college radio shows on, like Tom Foolery, Dexy's Midnight Blade Runners from DCU. I'm gonna have just some really cool people on the first episodes at Ringsiders, and if you want to listen to the pilot and find out more about why I'm doing the series, just check it out on the Hallway Wrestling Podcast feed. And other than that, if you want, it's not on the Spotify, but I did a college project for digital media about AEW. I did the brief was, this is what you need to know about, and it had to be a 3-minute audio clip with sounds and sound effects and stuff like that. And I picked AEW. And if you go onto our SoundCloud, you can actually listen to that, because I had to upload it to SoundCloud as a form of entering it. So if you want to listen to that, and it is quite cool. I worked on it with a sound engineer friend of mine with some sound effects. We made a ring bell by smashing a bowl off a spoon, or a spoon off a bowl, and stuff like that. So if you want to listen to that, then that's there as well. But yeah, so that's kind of what my week's been like. Very busy. But what about you, Kieran? How's your week been?
Oh, it's just been fairly calm. I'm on a fucking 2-week break from college, which should be nice, over Easter. So happy Easter to everyone next week. Is it next week or is it the week after? I don't care.
This Sunday. This Sunday, and this day next week, and I know that because I'm off work, and I'm really happy. But
excellent. That's gonna be fun. I
get paid for sitting on my arse and eating chocolate.
Yeah. So I've just been watching like a fuck ton of movies, which has been just great, because I love movies. Fuck wrestling. I should probably have a movie podcast. Maybe I will someday. Yeah, movies and comics has just been my entire week, and it's been nice because I don't have any assignments due for another few weeks, so I can just kind of chill.
Yeah, I've learned that I'm better when I just do my assignments and getting myself in a bit of order. So hopefully this week will be another hectic week, but in 4 weeks we'll be off for summer and hopefully nice weather will come and restrictions
Oh,
will ease.
yeah.
Restrictions. I'm hopeful restrictions will ease slightly. I mean I'm not as hopeful as I would have been a few months ago, but
Oh,
Ireland is what it is.
yeah.
Well done the UK and the US. You guys seem to be doing great. But yeah, you seem to be doing great in most places, but there's some places that are just like that have never even been in a bad, it never even seemed like they're in a bad situation. And we'll probably get on to one of them. We'll probably be discussing one of them quite heavily in the show, Florida.
Whoa,
Um, but yeah, other than that, is there anything else we need to go on to before we go into some wrestling news?
I don't believe so. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, but other than that, go check out our Twitter because I'll be posting information about good people doing good shit. And honestly, it's an open invitation to anyone. If you want to come on and talk about what you're doing, then come on and talk about what you're doing, and why it means something to you. But yeah, Kieran, I think we're only one place to start. Mr. Andrade Cien Almas
Yes.
is big developments on the news. Obviously, we reported last week that he has been released. It was due to Charlotte, not due to, but heavily rumored to be part of Charlotte Flair's kind of saying that she wants him to be released. He's not. He obviously wasn't happy, and he got his release. There's a few bits of news that we need to go through, Kieran. In our first recording, I completely forgot. Charlotte Flair has tested positive for the coronavirus.
I literally was just about to say that because I also fucking forgot, which is crazy. I hope she's okay. I hope Ric Flair is okay, obviously. I'm sure she'll be fine. I don't know. I hope it hasn't, it's not going to lead to another massive outbreak. Was she on screen with anyone this week, like in the ring?
On screen, no, she wasn't. She
Okay,
wasn't.
good.
She wasn't at all. Obviously, we'll get on to the. Actually, no, we'll talk about it now because we're not going to talk about Raw too much in depth. The menu match is Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea
Do you want to go through the
Ripley.
Mania card night by night? Because I don't fully know which one's on which night.
Yeah, I will give a quick Google search right now while
Do
you
do
fill
do.
time talking about Andrade, Kieran. Andrade, no 90-day compete clause. What do you think about
Yes.
what do you think about his? I think he should go to Japan personally, and I think it says AEW aren't going to sign Tia Trinidad and Andrade Cien Almas immediately, and I think that's a great decision.
I don't know. I feel like given what AEW are almost known for at this stage, it would be, out of character for them to not give him a massive offer straight away. It's kind of their thing at this point. Anytime anyone leaves that company, they just try and snatch him up. Well, I don't think Andrade would go for it. Personally, I think he'd try and do something in Ring of Honor or New Japan. But if the offer is good enough, maybe go for it. I don't know. Not that AEW need the talent. I don't know. I'd be up for. I don't think it would particularly draw me to watch any new promotion, but I'm not sure. Maybe if he got back with like Zelina Vega, although I doubt that'll happen because she's
I
fantastic.
I don't think in the grand scheme of things, in terms of, I know you're going to say, oh, he's a billionaire, but I don't think in the budget, I don't think Tony Khan, after signing Christian and Big Show, will be in for Andrade at the moment, and I don't think it's a bad idea because, as I said before, I'm stealing this off Grapple. Shout out to Benno and JP and Gareth. It's very good Patreon. It's the one first Patreon I ever signed up for. Their happy hour was last night, and I went on, had a few drinks, and
Hmm.
there's a voice break chat with them. But they were mentioned on their podcast this week that his stock isn't very high at the moment. Well, it is, but it's not as high as it can be. Where like he obviously he hasn't left WWE on a high. He's obviously has history in Japan, as I told Kieran, and Kieran didn't. I don't think Kieran knew this, judging by his reaction. He was La Sombra and he was the IWGP IC champion.
Hmm.
He beat Nakamura for the belt, Kieran.
That's crazy, really. Well,
Yeah, he was also part of Los Ingobernables de Mexico when Naito went over, the story about Naito and his excursions. He was a big
hmm.
part of that. So, and then there's obviously the Ring of Honor faction, La Faction Ingobernables. So there's a huge, huge amount of options for him, and I think he's gonna take this chance to wrestle as many places as he can. The lines are blurred between all these companies. We saw Omega come out on Impact this week and mention Ibushi. Omega's going to be the Impact champion soon. Like, he can go pick and choose wherever he wants, and it's great to see because that man is an amazing wrestler, and we're all in this dream match culture, and there's so many matches that Andrade could have that would be amazing.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
yeah, all the power to him. But here we go. I think I think we're going to change up the format for the show this week. I think we're going to go through the Mania card and talk about the matches. Just a brief synopsis, brief opinions on the matches and what we think is going to happen. And that way, we're going to get through our main roster talk now.
Sure, yeah. And
I
I'm
think
sure we'll
that's
do like a full preview of the card next week as well, I imagine.
Yeah, I think we might do like kind of like a preview show. We might just like um it depends on how big AEW is, but I think we might just do a big kind of the Mania weekend preview.
Yeah.
We will see. But yeah, from the top, make it drop. No, we're not singing well. Do you want? Do you want? I'll go with night one. Do you want me to go from the main event to the bottom, or do you want me to go from the bottom to the top?
Bottom to top.
Okay,
Are
night
we
one.
confirmed for what the main events are, or is it just speculation right now?
I think we're pretty confirmed about what the last matches on the night are.
Awesome, coolio.
Um,
All right, bottom to top.
right. We'll go through NXT next week, but we'll be reviewing NXT weekly in a few minutes. But from the bottom, on night one, we have Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman. Yeah.
I'm up for it. Come on. Like, because Braun Strowman's known for his big stupid stunts, and who else is Shane McMahon? So surely the two of them, like, have thought of something crazy to do. It would be weird if they hadn't. Like, Shane will climb to the top of the pirate like ship, and Braun will pick it up and throw it down or some shit. There's got to be something crazy they have planned.
Yeah, listen, this won't be a wrestling match. This seems like
No.
this will be a very much a brawl.
Mm.
Palette. I mean, it might, like if I've had a few drinks, I think I might find this funny. Like, I don't
Well,
think
he's
I
gonna
go.
be sweaty. So
Yeah, I can't. I actually can't wait for it. That week is literally. Sorry to detour, but that week is literally Masters week, which is a big golf major, and WrestleMania. I'm gonna be like a kid at Christmas that week. It's gonna be a good week. It'd be great for the self esteem as well because it's been a quite a low time with COVID. So I
mm.
mean, as bad as the card may look on paper, and it doesn't really look that bad, but it just hasn't been built properly. It's Mania, so we're always going to get hyped. The next match, New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos for the Raw Tag Team titles. Now, Kieran, I'm reading between the lines here, and I don't think Vince was struggling to book his Mania card and went back to his old faithful and said, like, her business, I'm really sorry, but New Day are a surefire bet to have a good match. We're gonna have to drop the tag belts.
It seems really weird considering that the main event of the entire event, like show, is most likely Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley to have the Hurt Business lose the titles.
Yeah, and on Raw, they Bobby Lashley got really angry. I don't know if you saw this. He basically like called out the Hurt Business for just failing, and then went into the locker room and said, anybody who can take out Drew McIntyre between now and Mania gets a title shot, and it was all the mid card fodder, like so much talent, like Drew Gulak, Ricochet, Humberto Carrillo, who we discussed looks jacked, and he does. All there's the mid card fodder basically being like, if you can take him out. So I'm assuming Drew is either going to run a gauntlet or just beat the crap out of a lot of people.
Okay, yeah.
Which yeah. Next match is one of my. I mean, say what you want. I nearly say what you want about him. I didn't cry about him. Say what you want about him, but he is a big match player, and I am more delighted about this because Cesaro is getting his big push. It's Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I'm excited.
Yeah. That should be really interesting. I think people are really excited for that. I don't know if it's going to be like an amazing match, but it is nice to see Cesaro get a push because he's someone who people have wanted to get pushed for a long, long time. It feels like. And yeah, Rollins needed a match, so fuck it, yeah.
Cesaro accepted the match only the way he could by swinging Rollins around, and I'm just saying I accept, which is cool. I'm a big Cesaro mark. I really do like him. He's just been humiliating Rollins, and Rollins is getting even more angry. I mean, Rollins had a great match with Owens last year. Probably one of the best matches on the card. This is just gonna be a really fun match and a really easy match on the eye. So yeah. Speaking of Cesaro, I saw a thing this week of one of his matches in Chikara, and Kieran, he swung a guy 54 times.
That's stupid.
It's fucking insane. Like, I'll send you the GIF later, but fucking hell, like, this next match, I'm intrigued at this match. Bad Bunny versus The Miz. Now listen, we said it every week, but fair fucks to Bad Bunny.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know this. I don't know if this is going to turn into a tag match. But before I ask you about that, Kieran, did you see Ryan Satin this week?
No, well, what's he done now?
It's so funny, right? He put out a tweet saying, "I was just in my barber, and I was just in my barber, and I was telling that the barber that I'd cover WWE for a living, and the barber said, 'Oh, Bad Bunny is in WWE. I've started watching again because of him.'" Everyone was just like, "I'll take that's bullshit for 50 grand, please." Ryan Satin is such a fucking idiot. It's not. It's like bullshit. That definitely didn't happen. But yeah, listen. Ryan Satin aside, where he belongs. Bad Bunny versus The Miz. Whether it turn next week we are gonna have a terrible segment with like The Miz was dressed as a bunny this week. We're gonna have something stupid for the go home show. But The Miz is a solid bet to carry Bad Bunny through this match. If it turns into a tag match, so be it. Again, in the middle of a Mania card, you're not gonna have like work rate classics. This will be a bit of crack.
Yeah, and I'm casually looking forward to it.
And we might get a Bad Bunny versus The Miz. The Miz music video again.
Yay.
Right. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. I was so excited for this.
Look, I'm still excited for the match. The story's just a bit dodgy.
It's fallen. Like, I'm excited for the match, but it's fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but hey.
Yeah, when Belair last week pointed at the sign as opposed to looking at Banks, I was just like, no, this isn't for me. Having Reginald be the pivot in the feud. Yeah, like listen, it's unless they do something extremely good on the go home, like I'm gonna watch the match. But I was heavily invested in this. I was pushing for this to be main event. I'm pretty sure I said on the podcast.
Yeah, so was I. I think it still would be a genuinely great main event, and I still do think the match is going to be great. But there's no great story there, unfortunately. They'll have to build a story in the match rather than rely on the one they told in the build-up.
They will, but did you think like Sasha Banks like is a trusty guy? It's trusty person, trusty like hand for Vince. Like she's a fantastic wrestler and can work on the mic. Why didn't they just give them promos and keep them apart? Like, I don't get the culture of putting them together as a tag team for that long. I thought that when I saw it was one, I thought it was gonna be a one and done.
Yeah,
but yeah, it'll be a great match. And finally, Bobby. Lastly, but not Bobby leastly. That's a
very good.
That's a cultaholic joke. I think it might be Ross. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Listen, it's TNA 2015, but I'm not. McIntyre defeated Cedric and Shelton Benjamin in a handicap. Then they're banned from ringside. That's why Bobby Lashley was angry. That's why Bobby Lashley was angry. I don't know how to feel about this, Kieran. Can you kind of put some rationale on?
I couldn't. I don't think the match is going to be very good. I couldn't care about the match, but I like Bobby Lashley a lot more now than I did like 3 months ago, and that's pretty great, pretty cool, and pretty great. And I do not want Drew McIntyre to win this title for the third time in a year. I don't like the idea of him consistently dropping it and then just winning it back a month later. I think that's really fucking lame. So please don't keep doing that. And I'd be interested to see what Lashley can do going forward with the title.
Yeah, night 2, which looks significantly better, as it should. Now, let's put a asterisk beside this. I think Ray and Dominic are challenging for the tag belts. I don't know in what capacity. If it might be just throw all your tag teams into a match. I think Ray and Dominic will most likely, if they're looking for moments, I think they will most likely win. But let's get on to it. And Kieran,
Or do they lose and one turns on the other?
I remember. Are you?
You said it like every week, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it cooled off. But like, is Dominic? Do you think that they were trying to just keep them together while Dominic trained up, and then they want to turn them and build to a SummerSlam feud?
Sure, look, it'll happen at some stage, but it's just like we've no idea when. Like, when does Ray realistically want to hang up the boots? Because that's when it's gonna, actually happen.
Did a custody of Dominic ladder match happen at a SummerSlam, or am I getting that wrong?
I believe so. Was it Guerrero and Mysterio, or was it someone
Yeah,
else?
if it was SummerSlam, then they might be building to that. That might be a nice little callback.
Maybe.
Could you imagine him in the middle of a match? You tried to sell me. But yeah, listen, either way, I mean, I'm not like against it, to be honest. Like, Otis and Chad Gable might win it. Like I just want anybody but Rude and Ziggler. I literally forgot. I keep forgetting every single week they're tag champs. But listen, this first match has a few interesting talking points, Kieran. We're getting a return of a feud that defined Ring of Honor, defined NXT, and defined and the early part of both of these guys' main rosters' careers. It's Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, but Kevin Owens is the good guy, and Sami Zayn is a sniveling dick.
It's been years since we've seen this match, and I cannot wait to see it again because they were always fantastic.
I can't wait for this dynamic. I hate the fact that people are like, "Oh, we're going back to this match." We're going back to this match with a reason. Like, it's not like, listen, it hasn't been built. Nothing has been built great, but this has kind of been built okay. Sami Zayn is going insane, and Kevin Owens is like, "What the fuck happened to you?" Another kind of little thing is next week, Sami Zayn is hosting a premiere of his documentary, and he has enlisted the help of Logan Paul.
Yay! I'm looking forward to that for some stupid reason.
Yeah, listen, WWE take the piss out of them all we want. Very smart decision. Logan Paul is a
100%
huge star, bigger than Bad Bunny. I would argue. 14.
He realistically is more popular than anyone who's currently on the WWE roster.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And for those who may be listening, I don't know what our demographic is like. But a lot of people's perception of Logan Paul is, oh, he's a dickhead. And I've had to explain this to people this week, and I've actually opened people's eyes to it. Obviously, everyone knows him from the incident in 2017, I want to say. Was it 2017 or 18? Where he filmed a dead body in a suicide forest. And that was a disgusting thing to do. And my opinion was exactly the same as a lot of people's opinion was. But in the world of cancel culture, we fail to see the times when people take accountability for themselves and improve themselves as people. And I'd like to put my neck on the line and say immediately he took accountability for his actions, went away and learned, and came back a much better person. And to be honest, I didn't like him before, but I really do enjoy his podcast. And a lot of the stuff he has to say is quite interesting. There's a tweet that he put out about kind of holding accountability and taking himself a good long hard look in the mirror. A lot of stuff around, he uses platform for really, really good to educate his young fan base around the Black Lives Matter movement. And I don't know what your kind of experiences with him, Kieran, but I think if people are going to be like, oh yeah, why this is bad PR, I think he's done more than enough to hold himself accountable and make himself a better person.
Yeah, well, obviously it's if you're, he's had a sort of redemption over the last few years since then, and I don't know. I guess it's up to you, the individual viewer, as to whether you believe in that, how much. But yeah, I think in general, most people do genuinely seem happy with him, and not in the 12-year-olds that watch him still like him type thing. In a genuine, like, he's built some bridges and kind of mended fences over the past few years and tried to be better.
And he's better than his brother. Who I hope gets his head knocked off on April 17th. Okay. He's in a boxing fight. I'm not violating. I'm not wishing him to get decapitated. I don't know. Not literally. But with Ben Askren's right hand, maybe. But Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, they know each other like the back of their own arse. Like, this is going to be simple as it's going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. Right. Next match, we'll bring up something from Fastlane. Big E versus Apollo Crews. What the fuck was that finish?
What happened? Oh, no, yeah. Now I remember this. That was fucking weird. I don't understand
You know what
how they
happened?
balls that up and how they're getting a rematch.
Yeah, you know what happened? Big E got pinned and they fucking panicked. Big E got accidentally pinned and they've called it like a no contest, so they're doing this match again. I mean, if you're building a feud off of... people shouldn't... WrestleMania matches should not happen before WrestleMania. It's as simple as. I'm a big believer that...
There's exceptions.
There's exceptions, but...
This isn't one.
No, Fastlane was built off of Raw rematches, and a few of these have carried through. And as cool as it is to see Apollo Crews with an edge, I have nothing to say about this, Kieran. Please, huh?
Look, I'm sure it'll be a fine match. It'll either be a fine, decent bathroom break match, or it'll be a squash. I'm kind of hoping it leans much more towards squash because I think Big E could use that a bit more, especially after the finish. But who really knows or cares? It's one of the more passive matches going into the event, and one of the ones that kind of a bit more clearly feels thrown together.
I want to say piss break, to be honest. Like I'd love to be invested in a Big E match this Mania, but man, is it hard. Oh, the next one is fuck me. The Fiend versus Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Now, Kieran, are we going to get a cinematic match that's going through Randy Orton's career, and we get like a hologram of him shitting in a bag or something?
Look, that's obviously the best case scenario. They've given him a new mask though. They've given him a new look, so they're gonna want to show that off at Mania, I think.
He's fucking burnt.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of cool.
It looks cool. It looks cool. But it's Randy Orton versus the Fiend. Kieran, cinematic match. Do you think? I think the one tiny thing I want is like John Cena Easter eggs. Like I want like, you know the way he changed him into the NWO. I want like Cena's wristband hanging on a hook on the wall as Randy's walking into the fun house or something
that could be
like.
Fun, yeah.
There's little callbacks and stuff like that.
Is it confirmed for a Funhouse match?
No, but
well, it probably won't be then, man.
Oh no, I have to believe that it is, man. I have to believe that they're going to go back to the formula of it. But if they don't, then I'm genuinely not interested in a straight up singles match.
Yeah, I don't know. We've seen and been disappointed by Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton so many times now.
Good. Quick kind of diversion is the word. It's late. Retribution broke up. I think Ali might be carrying an injury, but Retribution broke up on Sunday on the kickoff show. So goodbye, Retribution. Dijakovic might be returning as is himself. I'd like to see Dijakovic and Dio Madden return as themselves, hopefully. But they broke up after Mustafa Ali lost the US title match. And Matt Riddle's opponent for Mania after he broke his scooter on Raw seems to be Sheamus. Solid match. It hasn't been confirmed, but if that's a match for Mania, I'd watch it. I think Sheamus is underrated while not being amazing. And you know, Matt Riddle is Matt Riddle, but solid match. Penultimate match that has been announced so far. I don't think there's going to be 5 matches on each night. I think there'll be more. Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
I'm well up for this. I think Rhea will win, and I hope she's good.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great match. Hopefully Asuka's fully fit. Listen, if she's not, I don't want her anywhere near the match or going like 30 minutes. But if she's fully fit and really healthy and happy, I'll take it. I I do when we discuss NXT. I'll talk about what's going to happen there. But Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, it can't be a bad match. And finally, Kieran, we want to talk about what happened on SmackDown because this was interesting.
All our dreams came true, Reen.
Yeah, well, we'll get on to that in a minute, but basically, Daniel Bryan, had a promo with Edge and was like, I deserve to be put in that title match. He didn't tap. And Edge was like, why are you doing this? Why are you going about it like this? And Daniel Bryan was like, you're the ultimate opportunist. So Edge, so yeah, I've got it up here now. Bryan said he deserves to have a triple threat match. And Edge was like, you've lost twice. You don't deserve the match, you son of a bitch. He mentioned the word bitch.
So cool.
It's so cool, man. I wish I was him. I wish I was able to use the word bitch. He basically laid Bryan out and then smacked up Bryan with a steel chair. And then it moved on to later in the night where Edge went to Roman Reigns and basically was like, this is bullshit. And Reigns was like, I agree. And then it all boiled up to Adam Pearce was being told, like, don't do it, you know. They were building up to this big decision. He was being influenced during the night. Pearce, basically everyone was trying to base jockey for their decision to be the one that was made. Pearce ran down all the decisions and then announced a triple threat main event for WrestleMania between Bryan, Edge, and Orton. Reigns went mental, and Edge and Bryan started beating the crap out of each other. Superman punched by Reigns to Bryan. Jey Uso put in a steel chair. Edge speared Uso and then just snapped and like smacked people with steel chairs. And he placed Bryan and Reigns' head on chairs and went for the concerto, you know, his patented move. That defined an era of Edge. But Uso got in the way. Officials hit the ring and Edge just smacked them both. I think Jamie Noble got a whack of a chair. The ginger guy who was bullied by Nia Jax got whacked. Pat Buck, I think, is his name. And they just and then Edge just like stared into the hard cam maniacally. So we got Maniac Edge, Underdog Daniel Bryan, and Big Bad Boss Man Roman Reigns. Kieran, main event of night 2. What are your thoughts?
I cannot wait. It's got to be the most anticipated match of Mania. It's probably the only match. No, it's, you know what, Sasha and Bianca will bring in this level, but it's the only match that kind of feels like a WrestleMania match where I'm like, wow, I really, really am excited to see this, and it feels like a match that would happen one time a year. They won't have the balls to give it to Bryan. It'll probably go to Edge, but still, I don't care because I really, really want to see this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of talk online about why is it triple threat and just WWE. There was reports this week WWE were worried that Edge was getting older every week, and I was like, well, the water is wet, man. Like, he's gonna get older, but he's this little excuse the pun, but the edge that he has,
very good.
I wish I had a badumch. That was completely unintentional, but the edge that he's kind of got in the last few weeks is better than just like clean cut babyface Edge, in my opinion. And I'm looking forward to it because Daniel Bryan against two big guys. Yeah, please. And speaking of WrestleMania, we'll go straight into an update on the plans for WrestleMania, Kieran. Yeah, it's basically Meltzer's come out and confirmed that Riddle will be defending the United States Championship against Sheamus. It is expected Ziggler and Roode will put their SmackDown titles on the line against the Street Profits, and Chad Gable and Otis and Rey and Mysterio there's a possibility that it will be added, and a multi-man women's championship match is also expected. Kieran, I want a simple yes or no from you. Do they do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
No.
Nope.
No. They shouldn't. Maybe they will, but they shouldn't.
Yeah, I agree.
They did the fucking Rumble though, didn't they?
Yeah. Peacock news, Kieran.
Yay.
Peacock launched this week. Yeah, Peacock, not peahen. It's a male bird network. Got all the jokes this week. We're running on gas. But Peacock basically did their big launch this week, and there was two talking points coming out of it, Kieran. One of them was the kind of teething issues that they had during the pay-per-view. I don't know if you saw these. It just seemed quite buffery from what I heard. Yeah. And it also the kind of skip back and forward. And in the last recording, you said W Network hasn't always been good. But in my opinion, it's pretty good in terms of on-demand services go. There's a bit of sound. Hopefully that was royalty-free music. But yeah, the W Network is usually good. But I'm not American. I didn't see it for myself. But from what I read, it wasn't really great. And I don't think this is a great start, Kieran. But it kind of makes sense as to why Fastlane happened after that.
I only got the network in 2016, I think, and it was still a fucking mess for like years. Even when I had it, and it pissed me off. So I'm not surprised this was another mess. WWE just aren't the best at that sort of thing. But I don't know. Presumably it'll be all right on time for Mania because it's Mania. If they fuck this up, what are you doing? I don't know. I haven't really heard anything about Peacock particularly. I don't think there's anything amazing on it right now that's exclusive or original, but we'll see. Just another fucking streaming service. At least for US fans, it's like a bit cheaper and better to get the network now.
Yeah. My water just went right down the wrong pipe there. I'm trying to keep away from the mic. But yeah, and then the second bit of news to do with Peacock is that there's been controversial content removed from the network. I'm going into the report now.
Such as?
Okay. Jesus Christ. The NBC Universal Streaming Service is currently reviewing and editing all 17,000 hours of WWE content to ensure it fits in with Peacock standards and practice. Kieran, wild guess how many people are going through that?
2.
Imagine.
No, it's a group of interns, definitely, and I fucking would hate to have their job.
Yeah. Okay. 2 noteworthy pieces of content which have already been removed. Roddy Piper versus Bad News Brown from WrestleMania 6.
Yeah, fair.
A match which Piper painted himself half black. And a backstage segment from Survivor Series when Vince McMahon used the N-word.
Yeah, that's a dodgy segment.
Which is very, very fair.
When was that? What year was that?
2005.
Fuck me dead. He should have known better.
No, to be honest, Kieran, I'm assuming all the Muhammad Hassan stuff will be removed. Katie Vick. Anything else you think will be removed?
Oh, I don't know if that stuff would even be removed because it's tasteless. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe any reference to Chris Benoit, perhaps. But that seems like more of a company thing than it is like just I don't know. I really don't know. Could be anything. Nothing that I would probably particularly be a fan of. I don't think you're going to be missing out on like some of the greats or anything.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it just jumps straight to Bruce Beefcake versus Mr. Perfect. And when you're going to the Mania thing, it still gives you like an option to click to be like timestamped. But anyway, yeah, we move on. So, is there any other news before we get on to Wednesday Night Wars? Anything else? Bret Hart has been out saying that AJ Styles and him could have created a masterpiece. I mean, not wrong.
Yeah, probably.
Not wrong. He's also said he would have banned tie slapping years ago.
Fair enough.
Yeah. AEW are running a house show, Kieran. April 9th. Genius.
Is this their first house show?
Yeah, April 9th they'll be running a house show. Mania weekend, Kieran. They're trying to catch that Mania crowd, and it's a smart decision.
Hey, remember, was it last year when they were like, "Oh, please, we're never doing anything on Mania"? That would be pathetic.
But nothing official. Like they're not doing like a live show. They're just doing like a house show with like a few matches on it. Just kind of people are going to be in town. But yeah,
that's still crazy to me that there's going to be a crowd for Mania.
Yeah, what do you think's gonna? Are they gonna put people in the lower seats, or are they gonna spread them out? But Kieran, even worse.
Surely spread them out. It would be insane if they were like clumped together, but it was just lower.
Well, Kieran, speaking of clumped together,
Oh no.
The UFC have sold out the tickets for UFC 261. 16,000 seats, full crowd in a
Wow.
stadium in Florida in minutes. It's a huge card. There's four huge fights, and the tickets have warnings against death and illness from COVID on them.
That would probably be on anything anyway, to be fair. But when's that event?
April 24th.
Fuck. Look, the US are doing really well with their vaccines, aren't they? From what I know. I
Yeah,
could be wrong there. But I don't know if they're doing that well, you know.
yeah, but it's crazy. Florida's the world, just crazy. WWE's residents, they have a new Thunderdome, Kieran.
Yeah.
Um, their new run at
Yeah.
Tampa's Yuengling Center, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, has an end date of Tuesday, August the 3rd. That would make the Monday Night Raw the last event take place within the building. I have a feeling that, despite Florida being open, I have a feeling this might be their last Thunderdome run before they go back to live shows. With the way America's going, I think August 3rd they might be back to normal. Do you think?
I don't know if it'll be normal, but it'll definitely be at a capacity where they could run live shows. And even if attendance is poor, they have that COVID excuse. So, yeah, man, that would be great.
Yeah,
I'd love to see crowds come back to wrestling.
yeah. The first broadcast from Yuengling Center would be the post WrestleMania episode of Raw on April 12th. That was a
Wow.
huge week for WWE. They must have a fucking huge team.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. Their production team is incredible.
yeah,
The amount of shit they do, how often they did it. Like any one of those like WWE Day of things where you see them setting up for this new arena like every fucking day it's insane. It's so
it's
well put together.
yeah, it's crazy. And that is our news for the week on our WrestleMania run through. Right, we're recording. Okay. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show so far, whatever it may be, a weekly podcast, an interview, a collab, maybe a Project Dits special like it's coming up soon. Before we go on, I want to tell you about our sponsor. It's a bit crazy, but support for today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They are trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all the below your waist grooming needs. They're fantastic. And they just launched in Ireland, Kieran. How cool is that? Like that we are kind of one of the first to kind of get our hands on the products when they've just launched in Ireland.
It's the coolest, and we've wanted them here for a long time. To be fair, you hear about them all over the world. Every podcast is sponsored by them, and we finally got to try out their products.
Yeah, and they are fantastic. They're nothing short of fantastic. So you can be one of the first men in Ireland. Me and Kieran are lucky to be part of that group. When you guys can join us, we will give as of course we will give you the code at the end. But yeah, I mean, below the waist grooming is something that's like kind of known, but no one talks about it. But it's known to be very difficult with conventional razors. You get a lot of issues when you're using conventional razor down there because it's not like shaving your face. It's very, very different. And Manscaped has basically revolutionized that and fixed that. I've had issues with conventional razors, and it's great to have this easy below the waist trimming tool. So they've redesigned their electric trimmer, Kieran, as if they couldn't get better. They've just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, and I got my hand, and we both have our hands on it, and it is fantastic in every way. The grip is fantastic. The razor is fantastic, isn't it?
It's so good. It's surprisingly good. We got the performance package, which is just like it's a premium product. It's surprisingly good, worth every fucking cent, in my opinion, at least. It's really well presented. The actual Lawnmower 3.0 itself is really good. I tried it out last night, if I do say so myself. Really, great grip. There's an LED light on it to help you with like precision grooming. It illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. You can see every twist and turn around your balls. It's excellent. It's one of the coolest features.
Yeah, and if you're like me who shaves in the dark, sorry, not shaving there, just showers in the dark, and I might not shave in the dark, but if I am having a shower in the dark, then the LED does help in that way as well, because it is a really cool LED light and it's very, very strong. Yeah, the like premium product. Like when we say premium, we're not like just saying that. Like the battery lasts up to 90 minutes, which is fantastic. A lot of the problems with some other electric razors that people try to brought out is the battery life. There's an easy charger port, as me and Kieran have. You just plug it into your USB into your wall, and you just stick it in. It's like basically the same electric system as your electric toothbrush. It's got like a little charger port, and you just stick it in. The third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents with the skin-safe technology, so it protects you at all times. And the waterproof technology is helpful as well because, as we've said, you do it in the shower. You are grooming in the shower. You wouldn't be doing it like your normal shave at the sink. And then obviously Kieran's mentioned the LED light, which I really, really love as well. And if you're listening to us speak right now, we want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. And as Manscaped said, as we are an Irish podcast, to make every day feel like St. Paddy's Day for your balls with Manscaped. And as the box said, your balls will thank you. And as we said, we have a code, so you can get 20% off and free shipping. And Kieran, before I go on with the code, I think free shipping is huge. The addition of free shipping is very generous because as it is an American product and coming over overseas, shipping overseas to Ireland is huge. So the free shipping to include it with the 20% off is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a fantastic code. Like shipping is always the thing that for me, anytime I'm buying an American product, has kind of held it back. So this code giving you free shipping is, I don't know, use it. It is, take advantage of this because it's a great offer. It's a great deal. Plus 20% off the actual thing itself, which is crazy.
Yeah, so let's not beat around the bush. No pun intended. But get 20% off. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code Hallway. That's HALLWAY, all capitals, at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with code Hallway at manscaped.com. I'll say it again. That's 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com using the code Hallway. Use the right tools for your job. Trim your pants potatoes and your balls will thank you. Let's get on with the episode. Please enjoy. And as we said, enjoy the products and hopefully we'll see you soon. Let's get on to the Wednesday Night Wars, Kieran, because two great shows. I will gladly say there was two fantastic shows.
There you go.
We're going to start. We might as well go with the WWE theme. We're going to start with NXT, Kieran. William Regal. This was the show where all the jigsaw puzzles were flung into place for Takeover. So let's get started. William Regal, who was a busy man on the night, two major announcements. A video package, Takeover Stand and Delivered, two-night event, April 7, USA Network, and April 8 exclusively on Peacock. Then the NXT GM brought Dakota Kai and Racquel Gonzalez to the ring, where they were awarded the NXT Tag Team wrong show. I'm on the wrong show on the
idiot. It sounds like a great one, Rain.
Jam-packed. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, that didn't happen at the start, but we are back. Okay.
You caught it faster than I would have. I would have just kept going for like 20 minutes.
I'm a smart guy. Zoe Starks and Io Shirai versus Racquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Obviously, this has permutations with Racquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai, which was announced as main eventing night one, and I'm happy about that. Zoe Starks is very good, Kieran. Another very good women's wrestler. She's very, very impressive. I can see her being a champion. She seemed like a lot of charisma. But this was all about Gonzalez and Io Shirai, really. So single arm powerbomb gave Gonzalez the win, as she needed. Big boot, Io Shirai to the floor. Single arm powerbomb on Stark to win. After the match, Kai distracted Shirai, and Io was planted into the table with a single arm powerbomb. Apparently she injured her back, but I'm assuming that's in storyline. But yeah, Kieran, night one main event, great to hear. It's like what we wanted Sasha and Banks to be, that big, give them a main event on one of the nights. And they have. Now, I do believe if your prediction is to be believed, and Rhea Ripley wins the Raw Women's Championship, I believe if Io Shirai loses, she's going to be called up to SmackDown. Because I don't think they're going to rerun Io and Rhea on the main event, on the main roster. But Kieran,
not so soon anyway.
Are you excited for this match as a main event? I listen, it's not like a fantastic build, but it's just great to see that like they have two fantastic contrasted styles and women in the main event. Yeah,
no, I'm looking forward to it. Like every NXT pay-per-view, it should be good. And that's presumably the one that would have the most eyes on it because it's the one that's on like cable. as opposed to like being in a paid-for service.
Yeah. Now, Kieran. Bronson Reed beat LA Knight, which is interesting. But now, this is where you're going to have to stay with me, Kieran. Because Johnny Gargano has the North American title. They needed to resolve who gets a shot at the North American title. So William Regal announced next week. This is a really cool concept. I'm really, really looking forward to this. William Regal announced next week on the Go Home show there is a 12-man battle royal. And the final 6 qualify for a gauntlet match on night 1 of Takeover. And the order... So this final 6 qualify for the gauntlet match anyway. But they continue the battle royal. And the order you're eliminated in is the order you start the gauntlet. So if you get eliminated... If you're in the final... If you're the first person eliminated in the final 6, you start number 1. And so on and so on. And on night 1, the final 6 get the number 1 contendership. The final 6 go into a battle royal, a gauntlet, Jesus. And the winner of said gauntlet fights Johnny Gargano at night 2. Johnny Gargano wasn't happy about this. But Kieran, what do you think of this concept? This sounds like, from your voice...
How could he not be happy by this? Like,
I know.
His opponent's going to be so worn down.
He's a heel. He's a heel. But Kieran, I know by your and the fact that I just feel like this is a match that you would enjoy.
Yeah, sometimes these overly complicated things can be stupid and off-putting, but that's just enough where I'm like, that's interesting at the very least. And they presumably will pull it off decently. NXT are good at that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's an interesting idea, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So, off the top of my head, LA Knight's in it, Bronson Reed is in it. I think Pete Dunne might win. Kushida is in it. Jake Atlas is in it. Who else will be in it? Malcolm Bivens' guy, Tyler Rust, who's a really very good wrestler. But I think it's quite clear that Pete Dunne is kind of getting all the vignettes. Whether they pull out a surprise and he doesn't win, who knows? But yeah, I mean, so I think whoever wins will take the belt off Gargano.
Oh, definitely, sure.
They'll have to. Now, Crosby, Oney Lorcan in a quite good match, like a really decent match. And then Kross called out Balor. NXT, he called out Balor like just being like, I don't have any respect for you whatsoever. And Balor came out, and Balor's something about Balor's accents. The promo was not great, but he basically said you're uncontrollable and sloppy when you're angry, and he said I'm going to take advantage of your emotion, and without emotion I'm going to drown you. In his eye, it's just Balor's great. He's just not the best promo in the world.
Yeah, I think everyone will agree with that.
Yeah, but Kieran, enlighten me. We'll go with if Balor happens to lose. Where does he go? Or do you think, like, this is a viable option? I think Balor might win and Kross goes up to the main roster, because I don't see Balor wanting to go back to the main roster, and I don't see where Balor's plans lie if he doesn't have the NXT belt in NXT.
I think he'd go up to the main roster. I think he'd be a bit more confident going up, and they'd be a bit more willing to lean into like a heel character because he seems better at that. And it would be a great Night After Mania thing, you know?
I don't know, but it's interesting to see. But Kieran, up next is one of my favorite segments of the week. Walter destroyed Drake Maverick with a single powerbomb, a single leg Boston Crab, and Tommaso Ciampa came out, Kieran, and he said, "Walter, me and you take over NXT UK Championship on the line."
Whoa!
And Walter snapped. Imperium beat the shit out of Ciampa, and one of the really cool, I like my tiny storyline details, Kieran.
Yes, you do.
And I speak German. Walter ripped Ciampa's necklace off, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, in a previous feud or in just a documentary, his necklace has his daughter's name on it, or Willow, or something on it. Like he's very, very close, obviously very close to his family, but something had Willow on it. And Walter screamed, "Is das wichtig?" which means, "Is that important to you?" And he pulled it and he ripped it off. And Ciampa snapped and tried to go after him. And Walter caved his chest in with a chop and said, and put it, and like pinned him on the ground and said, "I'll see you at Takeover, Tommaso." And walked off.
That's going to be an incredible match. And I'm excited for that.
Fucking great. Because Ciampa's going to be really good at taking punishment. He's very good at being a gritty baby face. He looks really rough at the moment. Like the grey hair and the grizzled look. And obviously we have the Thatcher storyline as well. What's Thatcher going to do? Is he going to join Imperium? Is he going to help his friend Tommaso? Who knows? That's probably one of my most hype matches after that. That's a hype match, and that's a hype segment, and that's why Walter is fantastic.
So that'd be my most anticipated as well.
Yeah. I just like, as you said, I described the segment. It's sold already. And Kieran's like, yeah, so it's Tommaso Ciampa, it's Walter. We love to see it. Pete Dunne cut a promo saying he's just gonna win. He's gonna win and beat Johnny Gargano. So we'll believe him. Moon and Blackheart defeated Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez, which is just weird. I don't know why Mercedes Martinez is getting involved in that, but it is what it is. Moon and Blackheart are still the NXT Tag Team Champions. Up next, Kieran, Shawn Michaels threw a ladder in the ring, and it will, after Jordan Devlin beat Kushida, and it's going to be Escobar and Devlin in a night 2 in a ladder match.
All right.
Yep.
We talked about Devlin last week, I think, and how we're going to respond to that match.
Yeah. I'm just going to state it because it was something that happened. He beat Kushida. I hope Kushida gets a push soon. Maybe he might defeat Gargano, but we've already had that match. I don't see it happen, but he will be in the final 6. I think that won Kushida in that gauntlet. I do like everything about Escobar and Mendoza and Wilde, so I'm hoping for a lot of reasons that Escobar wins. And I can see him working on main roster. But the main event segment, Kieran, was brilliant. So, sat at the table. William Regal destroyed Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly for their disrespect of NXT. And he said, "You guys can fight at NXT Takeover, stand and deliver." But he said O'Reilly was not cleared to compete, and NXT would not be liable if he was injured further. It's an unsanctioned match. Cole ran down his best friend for becoming selfish and disillusioned, basically just being like, why did you try and get Balor in the group? You ruined the group. And O'Reilly cut an amazing promo where he said, Kieran, and it's a really simple promo, but brilliant. He said, "We ran the show, man, but we gave up our respect. We burned bridges that will never be able to be repaired in NXT. With management, with other wrestlers, we ran the company, but no one likes us anymore. And I was trying to get a bit of that respect back." He was like, "I was trying to get a little bit of that credibility back with the people in management. But you know how hard that is." And he just goes mental. And they signed the contract. O'Reilly threw the pen at Cole. Cole flipped, and they got in each other's face, being held back. And then in the post-show scuffle, Adam Cole punched William Regal and decked him. William Regal went down, took a back bump, and as he was walking out, had a stare down with Shawn Michaels. Kieran, I am fucking hyped for this match.
Yeah, no, it's the best case scenario, what we were hoping for with, what was going to happen with this Undisputed Era kind of breakup angle. And it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Is that night 1 or night 2?
Night 2. It's a co-main event. So probably just before Ciampa and Balor. So that'll be a heavy end of the pay-per-view. I'd be more inclined to look at what I think night 2 is a bit more stacked, as is with WrestleMania, as you'd fully expect. So yeah, NXT did a great show this week. Credit where credit is due. They pulled it out. They pulled it out of the bag. And we said they were a bit slow in recent weeks, but they know how to build to a pay-per-view. I'm really looking forward to that. A lot of those matches, Ciampa and Walter and Cole and Balor Cole and O'Reilly being my main 2, Kieran. What would your main 2 matches be that you're looking forward to? I mean, Io Shirai and Shotzi Blackheart, but I think for emotional investment, Ciampa and Thatcher and Cole and O'Reilly are my 2.
Ciampa and Walter. Yes,
Kieran
that's
going
definitely
with
number one.
Kieran going with the Vaulter. Yeah,
Volta.
yeah. I just like I actually this is a good point, Kieran. Do you think NXT UK like if do you think Ciampa might do a thing where do you think we might get a big Ciampa winning the NXT UK belt and going over? That would be serious.
Um, that could be interesting. It definitely. I wasn't there a report like a week or two ago that like they felt NXT UK didn't have enough star power.
Yeah, there was kind of people coming out saying that like NXT UK doesn't have enough star power. I think
Yeah,
someone in particular came out and said it. Davey Boy Smith came out and said they don't have enough star power. They don't really. They have a lot of like young lads. They really ripped the core. They ripped the gut out of the UK scene.
yeah.
And brought a lot of people in way too early. I don't think if you released a lot of those wrestlers, they would be they would leave NXT UK a lot like their stock would be a lot lower than when they came in for a lot of reasons. And like NXT UK has been frowned upon a lot, just for its kind of ground, like just taking up talent and taking talent that's way too young. They signed Aaliyah James last year, who's had like a handful of matches.
Sure, look, fucking the talent signed the contracts. No one made them. You know,
Yeah,
that's my thing with it. I'm not gonna get mad at the company for giving jobs to people who want jobs.
yeah, but yeah, Ciampa would add something really cool to it, and Ciampa versus
Yes.
Ciampa versus Ilya Dragunov.
There's a load of matches with like UK talent that I would just be incredible to see.
Yeah, but we're gonna move on to the black and gold brand. They're both black and gold. Black and gold. They actually are both black and gold. Black, gold, and white brand. Try to do that. AEW, everybody. It's like 10 to 10 now. But
It's late. This is the latest we've ever recorded, is it? Must be.
yeah. You know, it is what it is. Our schedules are only able to align up on this day, and I have to work sometimes. Okay, Matt Sydal defeated Michael Nakazawa to earn a AEW World Championship Eliminator match. And this is what it led to. The opening match was Matt Sydal versus Kenny Omega in an Eliminator after Tony Khan cut that promo that went viral and said that Omega has the fight Sydal. And
That was terrible. That was fucking horrific. Yeah.
It sounded like he was holding in a sneeze. It was.
There's a reason he's not an on-screen character.
Yeah, but he did buy a new entrance music for Orange Cassidy, Kieran.
What is it?
It's old school, so I don't know. You might know the name of the song because you're more of a music person than I am. Let me get it up on Twitter. But while I'm getting it up on Twitter, Omega and Sydal was brilliant. Like they meshed really well. There were some really cool strikes. He like got a really close 2 count with a brainbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Omega who Don Callis was really good on commentary. Omega won with the one winged angel as you'd fully expect. Loads of V triggers just blistering Sydal's face. And for what it was, I really fucking enjoyed it. Like it was fantastic. Hangman Page, before he went out, wished John Silver good luck for the main event. And he went out and squashed Cesar Bononi in a singles match. Lance Archer cut an amazing promo on Sting. Kieran, from watching, we talk about like Sting, we don't want Sting to talk a lot. Him versus Lance Archer. Yeah, him versus Lance Archer is something that I'd be very interested in. 2 big men. Lance Archer is a very, very agile big man.
I assume this will be a cinematic match, right?
I don't know, but Jake Roberts.
If it's not, then don't do it, please.
Jake Roberts adding that kind of backstory to it, I'm well in.
Yeah. Interesting story, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it could be a huge push for Lance Archer. I'd really hope that this is one of the first times when we see him get put him over. Because I really like Lance Archer. I'm a big fan. I've said it before. Britt Baker, Kieran, she cut an amazing promo on the show straight after her huge unsanctioned match after the class against Thunder Rosa. You're damn right. The title we had last week was all capitals. She basically just said like, Thunder Rosa, like we had that match and you may have won, but everyone's talking about me.
True.
She said it took Mick Foley 20 years to become a hardcore legend. I did it in one night. And she goes, Tony, you signed legend after legend when you had the biggest legend under his nose, me. And she was like, this may be AEW, but the biggest three letters in wrestling are DMD. Fantastic. So good. This was like, as if we were like, remember we were talking about how Britt Baker has become a star? This solidified it. This is the woman you build your division around. Fucking brilliant.
That's the promo to fucking be in highlight packages.
The match will be, the promo will be, and Kieran, from your, I'd say a lot of people viewing of Britt Baker like is limited, but would you say that like she does seem like straight out the bat that she could be a huge, if she stays at AEW, which I hope she does, she could be a huge women's star. What level, if you want to compare it to WWE, what level do you think she could get to?
Oh, it's hard to. I don't. It's always hard when like crowds are fairly limited to judge just how popular someone's going to be. But like, I can't imagine she'd be on a Becky level. Maybe something similar to Bailey and Sasha Banks when they started like having their women's matches in NXT, and they kind of took the wrestling world by storm. I think that sort of level, because Becky was a phenomenon.
Yeah, very few people will touch Becky's level, but Britt Baker's doing a very good job of trying. So I'm looking forward to it. Kieran, Orange Cassidy's new team is the Pixies. Where is my mind?
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a weird team. Okay, sure. It's a great song.
It suits Orange Cassidy, Kieran. If you think about Orange Cassidy, like the relaxed walk out with a thumb up. Tony Khan bought it for him. There's a video on Twitter. I'll send you the video of him coming out to it. Now, but yeah, Britt Baker, star maker. The Pinnacle made their debut, Kieran.
Any good?
Sean Spears and FTR. FTR, I think, are just fantastic. Everything they do, obviously said, means something. No wasted movement. Old school. I like it. I've never been a big old school watcher, but I just love FTR. Basically, Wardlow hit Pillman with a knee after the match. And Shivani came in for a promo, and I want to give a shout out to what's his name, Harwood or Cash Wheeler. What a promo! Such a good old school promo, Kieran. He basically said after MJF made a few fat jokes and kind of joke and did the arrogant kind of heel shtick.
Yeah.
Wheeler basically came on and said, Inner Circle, you want to mess around and joke around and do all these kind of segments, which is true. They've been doing all like the war segments and the kind of the interviews and stuff. He goes, when you show up to the marquee, it says professional wrestling, and we are the best goddamn professional wrestlers in this planet. You want to look at like all the hips and tricks, but when it comes to wrestling, there's no one better than us. And he shouted at Santana and Ortiz, and he was like, you guys do all your chips and things. But when it comes to professional wrestling and the business I love, we are the best. It was so good. Like, just so simple. Being like, your bullshit is not what I see as wrestling. It's not my philosophy. It's fantastic. It's perfect. And FTR, could you imagine FTR versus Santana and Ortiz as a non-title tag match on a pay-per-view? Yeah. Like, yes, please. Like, two fantastic, contrasting tag teams. Yes, brilliant promo and brilliant setup. And Kieran, Jericho wasn't on TV for a second week in a row, and that's what we love to see.
Happy days for you, man. You're loving it.
No, as in not in a sense of like, I don't like them, but like it's great that they have kept them off TV, and I hope they continue to do it. For a while, I think maybe 4 or 5 weeks is good enough because they're building to the pay-per-view. They don't need them on it until 4 weeks before the pay-per-view, maybe, as like a return attack and stuff like that. Taz insisted the Team Taz was okay. Brian Cage has apologized to everyone. Brian Cage didn't seem to be very happy, but the vignette moved on. QT Marshall came out and cut a really weird promo, Kieran, about people saying he's Cody Rhodes' friend. This was kind of weird, and then Cody Rhodes came out and was like, why are you doing this? This isn't it. And he said QT Marshall challenged him to an exhibition match next week. So it's an exhibition match with Arn Anderson as the ref, which is just weird. And I like nothing about QT Marshall whatsoever.
Mm.
Next match was match of the night and probably match of the week. Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid coming from AAA. He first time there since Fyter Fest, Kieran. Okay. In the middle of the show, Eddie and Mox cut a promo. Kingston broke his foot, and they cut an amazing promo, being like, "Where we come from, if you break break something, we put you in a morgue." And basically saying the Young Bucks, we appreciate the help, but we don't need it, and we don't respect you whatsoever. Cool stuff. I like it. Eddie and Mox continue to do good, but this 6-man was great. Just all action, and Laredo Kid got the pin. Laredo Kid got the pin, Kieran, which is interesting because he's only come back in, and you wouldn't really expect him to get the pin. You'd expect like Phoenix or Pentagon, but yeah, they're waiting on Pac to return from his injury to get a tag match against the Bucks. But for what this was, really, really fun. Kenny Omega came out and attacked Laredo Kid at the end and beating him down. And the Bucks do seem like they're not getting with Kenny. Kenny was like, "What the hell happened? Why aren't you too sweet me?" They left. And Kieran, I think and I heard someone say this, and I'd love to see it. I think the Young Bucks are going to help Hangman's ascent back to Omega.
Yeah.
They're going to go back, and they're going to say sorry, and they're going to see what happens. I love the Hangman stuff with the Dark Order, but I think the Young Bucks are going to get behind Omega, behind Hangman when push comes to shove towards the end. I think maybe on the Go Home show, Hangman has people in his corner, but the Young Bucks come out and wish him luck or something like that. I think there's going to be a lot. There's going to be some. I think I'll predict this: when Hangman wins that belt, I will cry because that's how invested I am in That's how invested I am in the story. They've done fucking brilliant with it. But so yeah, Penta and Phoenix smashed Omega with a super kick, and the mic came up and hit him in the mouth, and he was just bleeding from the mouth. And the Good Brothers tried to help him up, and there's just a photo of him with like blood coming out of his mouth. Great segment. But Kieran, this is what I've been waiting for all week. Breaking news. Cody Rhodes and Brandy have a reality show.
Yeah, that's weird. I saw that. Fuck it. Go ahead. Look, if Miz and Mrs. can get one, who gives a shit?
Oh, man. Bella Brains. Can't wait. I will never be watching it. I might watch the first episode of the Curiosity, but other than that. Gotta give big props, Kieran, next.
Yeah.
This woman left NXT and has grown on leaps and bounds in the last year. Ty Conti is your number one contender for the AEW tag title, to the AEW women's title, after beating Nyla Rose. She got beaten down after the match. But Kieran, I have heard this is this a damning indictment on the WWE Performance Center? Because other than Sasha Bailey, Flair, and who's the fourth? Sasha Bailey, Banks, and Sasha Bailey. What? There's 4 of them. I could have sworn.
Becky.
Fuck me. I'm so tired. But yeah, other than that 4, in recent years, they haven't built a lot of stars in that US-based performance center.
What about Alexa Bliss?
Like, she hasn't really reached the heights that you would have wanted her to. And
sure.
And Ty Conti went in there and didn't really. She got lost in the shuffle, and she's come out, and in a year she's shown that she's far better. That she's been able to implement her judo style in, because when she was in NXT, she had like the kind of the black belt on and all that. Now she doesn't, but she's allowed to implement a lot of her cool Muay Thai offense is really, 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 really cool. And it brought up the debate of like the PC has it really produced a lot of like main roster like main eventers in the last few years, like it did in the early years, but is it working like recently? Has it gone a bit has it stagnated a bit?
I don't know. It's a long-term project, I suppose. I don't know. I think that's a bit unfair. I think that we do need a new version of NXT where it's a legitimately developmental show. I think that really helped a lot of those people. But I don't know. Like the Performance Center still does have a lot of really good talent going in and out a lot of the time. And I
Yeah.
think in a few years' time, there's people who we see in a picture who are, made eventing shows or whatever.
Yeah, listen, I just thought that like I don't want to distract from that segment because what a performance by Ty Conti. She did fantastic. Like
Mm.
Nyla Rose really improved. Um, so Conti won with the DDT. Nice. And
Is that his actual name?
I think so. Yeah.
I love that.
And it was a really cool move. I think it's a variation on a DDT. It's a variation on a DDT if I remember
I imagine so.
correctly. And her kicks are very, very good. I love the way the Dark Order is still coming out with her because she's Anna Jay's friend, and hopefully Anna Jay gets better soon. Her and Anna Jay have both improved leaps and bounds. I mean, Anna Jay, fantastic, and I really hope she comes back as soon as possible and is stronger. But Rose had Conti after the match, and then Sheeta made the save, but then the Bunny came in. So this is the Bunny's first kind of getting physical. Matt Hardy arrived with the Butcher and the Blade, and Hardy said that the Bunny had been overlooked for too long and claimed the women's eliminator tournament was a sham because the Bunny wasn't in it. And next week we get Sheeta and Conti versus Rose and the Bunny. So whoever, I think, listen, give Conti Sheeta's time has come up soon. Do we give Ty Conti the belt, or do we wait and give like the Bunny or not? Like the Bunny obviously is gone for that belt. I'm not sure where that lies. I don't know if Ty Conti's ready to win a title, but she's really on her way. But this was good, and obviously the Hardy family is interesting. I haven't fully invested in it, but Kieran, cool. And then the main event. We cut out the Wi-Fi there, but we're back for the main event. And then we're going to take it home with plugs. Kieran, this is the epitome of. I'm very proud because John Silver and Darby Allin are two of my favorite wrestlers, but John Silver in particular. This was really cool to see because I love when AEW have these kind of matches where it's a sign of two lads who at the start of when AEW Dynamite was signed, they were relative nobodies and just like great indie wrestlers have turned into great TV wrestlers, and it's really cool to see this main event for the TNT title. Fantastic main event, great story, and the fact that John Silver dislocated his shoulder 5 minutes in and came back and wrestled for 15 minutes was fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad you liked it. Your dream.
Yeah, no, this just proved that I was like, I want John Silver to be TNT champion, but I don't know if he is really good, but I just didn't know. I really hoped other people saw it, and finally that night they saw. Sting got involved. Obviously, Darby Allin dived onto the Dark Order. There were some really cool spots. Sadly, John Silver's going to be out for 6 weeks with the shoulder injury. There's no lasting damage. It's just a dislocated shoulder. He'll be able to still do his being the elite segments and stuff like that. So he'll keep himself relatively kind of interested. Afterwards, Matt Hardy and his gang attacked. So it seems like we might be getting Matt Hardy trying to go for that TNT belt. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but we'll see how the Matt Hardy family stuff goes. Kieran, before we go, you talked a lot about Sting, and we in our first one we mentioned Sting and Undertaker, that dream match. But we forgot one very important thing. Christian's in-ring debut is next week, and it's a really cool story. Frankie Kazarian challenged Christian to a match, being like, "Oh, buddy, old pal, let's have a match next week." Really cool promo. Christian against Kaz. This is how Christian should be for now. Keep him on the undercard, having these cool matches, build him up, have a few wins. I'm not too disappointed with that, Kieran.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then Sting. I just wanted to ask you, like, what do you want? What you were saying, you were actively against Sting wrestling. What do you want to see Sting doing? Like, do you want to see him as an active, just in Darby's corner? Do you want to see him turn on Darby Allin, or where do you feel comfortable watching Sting?
Look, I guess I don't mind the cinematic matches because they seem a bit more safe, but no regular live matches. I don't know. I guess keep him with Darby for a bit, but I think it would be a good. If Darby's gonna outgrow Sting and work on his own at some point, I think Darby should turn on Sting rather than vice versa. And then you'll have some face, maybe even Cody be like, I respected Sting so much, blah blah blah, fight me,
Yeah, I think Sting and Cody will happen. We don't know when, but it'll most definitely happen. But Kieran, that's the end of the week in wrestling. I really enjoyed
Hmm.
talking through the Mania card and the Wednesday Night Wars.
Yeah.
We also had Omega mentioning Ibushi on Impact, which is interesting in itself in a big promo. But Kieran, it's time to take it home. But before we do, have you got any plugs for us this week? Have you got any recommendations? You said you watched a lot of movies. Do you want to name a couple of those movies and tell us if you will watch them?
Oh,
And have you got any podcasts or just people in general? Because good people doing good shit is all about shouting out the good people. And I think if there's anybody in particular making content out there that you're interested in.
I watched 2 weeks' Notice, which was good. Cargo, which wasn't. Sancho the Bailiff, which was good. Call Me by Your Name, that was good. Queen of Earth, which was good. 24 Frames was great. The Dead Don't Die wasn't. Justice League 2017 was okay. It's fine. And Billie Eilish's documentary is really, really good. Definitely check that out. Death Proof is fantastic. I loved that movie a lot more than I thought it would. I'm also trying to get into fucking baseball a little bit. So support the Mets. Because I'm a
Interest.
Mets guy, Reen.
Man, I've heard stories about baseball and just never gonna go to a match or never gonna watch one.
Totally fair. It's probably not for anyone. I'll
Um,
probably give up in a week.
yeah. For me personally, um, plugs. Just I've listened to a few interviews on a few podcasts, and just there's a guy, a YouTuber who over the lockdown just shot up in fame called Tommy in it. He's a Minecraft YouTuber, which is great, but he started the pandemic at 100,000 subscribers and now has 7.6 million. Um, it's mental how someone can grow that big, but he's really, really smart. He's only 16 years of age, Kieran, and he mentioned about the different reactions in how people in his secondary school found out about about him being a YouTuber and how people in
Mm,
college found out, and it really hit home where it was like a big difference. It was like a really, it was really like relatable where like kind of how people like grow in time,
mm.
and it was kind of a really cool, interesting insight. So I checked that out. But did I what? I've just been really busy. I haven't really watched much. What would I recommend? Was there anything that I saw caught my eye? Um, was there anything that caught my? There must have been. You watch so much shit, Rain. There must be something that I've caught your eye. Go listen. Some of the guests I'm gonna have on that pod, like Tom Foolery, are fantastic. You should go check their podcast out. They do really really good podcasts. Every Monday. James, who's on that podcast, has a movie podcast. Actually, Kieran, I might put you in touch with him because he's a very he just started a movie podcast where
Hmm.
reviewed Thor. He's reviewed Star Wars movies. He think he might be doing a Justice League review soon, but he's really really good at the movie
Cool.
reviews. Very very good. Um, there's a documentary that just came out on Netflix about how the sea is harming the world. I can't for the life. I don't know if you've seen that, Kieran, but I can't for the life of me remember the name. But apparently, it's very eye-opening from people who've seen it. About how the sea pollution is damaging the world.
Yeah.
And how the fish are dying. I'd definitely go and check that out. It's a Netflix original.
Okay.
A lot of people just said it's opened their eyes to the problems that are in the world. But other than that, no, I think we're good. I want to see as many people be willing to come on to the good people doing good shit podcast. I haven't even got my own name right, but I just want to anybody who comes on because it's not about me. I'll just be asking the questions. You guys will be telling your story, and I'm really really looking forward to seeing some people. Uh, so many people, so many different stories. Now everyone is going to be a new experience for me, and I'm looking forward to it. So, Kieran, I think we've done the plugs. Thank you for listening. Sorry for the late upload, and I think it's time to take it home. It's 10:15 here, and I think it's time to take it home.
Yeah, well, I've been Kieran Brennan, your host. With me as always, my co-host.
The man that genetics forgot Rain. It's been great recording with you, Kieran, again, and I'll see you guys when I see you because I won't see you next week. Probably see you guys. See you on Friday for the first episode.
Yeah, and as you say at the end of every episode of the Hosting Podcast, listen to good people doing good shit. Just give it a red hot go.